The outcome of an event is the result. So the outcome of an at-bat, the outcome of the cast of a fishing line, the outcome of an ACT test, whatever, is the result. The outcome of taking the test yesterday is your score. Okay? The sample space is the set of all possible outcomes. Every test you've ever taken would be your sample space. You could take all the scores of every test you've ever taken. That would be your sample space. Yesterday was just one of the outcomes of that entire sample space. Okay? One outcome over the whole sample space means very little. Okay, so if you cast your line and come up with a world record fish, does that mean you're going to get it every time? No. If you cast your line and get nothing, does that mean you're going to get it every time? No. Okay. Peyton sinks a 50-foot putt. Does that mean she's going to make that 50-foot putt every time? No. One outcome does not mean much for the sample space. Okay? An event is kind of a grouping of outcomes. So an event might be, if you're fishing, might be all the casts at a certain lake, or all the casts of a certain lure over all the casts of your entire life. So it's a grouping. If you're a baseball, softball player, it might be all your at-bats against a certain pitcher. Okay? That type of thing. For Peyton, it might be all of her scores on a certain course. Events are either independent or dependent. Okay? Independent events are events where one outcome does not affect the other. Okay, so if you go up to bat and you strike out, that has nothing to do with your next at bat. So, and that's sometimes difficult for a batter. But it has nothing to do with your next at bat. The next at bat is completely separate from the previous one. The fact that you struck out last time has nothing to do with what you're going to do next time. The fact that you didn't catch a fish on your last cast has nothing to do with what you're going to do on your next cast. The fact that you flipped a coin and got heads does not mean the next time you're going to get tails. Okay? My grandparents, they started having children, back then, bam, 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 bam. They had 5 girls in a row to start off. That did not mean that the next one was going to be a boy or a girl necessarily. They were the independent events. One outcome does not affect what the next outcome is going to be. Okay, so here's some of the examples I've given you. Outcome would be one cast of a fishing pole, line. Sample space, every cast of your life. An event would be one special trip or a specific lure, something like that. Okay? What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on the counting principle, which is how many different possibilities can happen over a certain number of casts in a boat. So, cast, reel it in, what could possibly happen? Fish or no fish? There are 2 possibilities. Okay? Cast it out there a second time. You could get a fish, no fish, fish, no fish. So you could go fish, fish. That would be good. Fish, no fish, fish, no fish, no fish. Okay, and you can change this analogy to whatever applies to you, whether it's if it's baseball, softball, hit, no hit, whatever applies to you. Third cast, same thing. And now, after 3 casts, how many different things could have happened over 3 casts? 8. 8 different possibilities. Fish, fish, fish. Fish, fish, no fish. Fish, no fish, fish. Fish, no fish, no fish. And on and on and on. And you could go on forever, but I'm running out of room. And you'll notice that the number of possibilities, in this case, doubles every time. All right? So, a dependent event is when one outcome does affect the other. So, whatever happens the first time happens, and then the second time is whatever happens is dependent on what happened the first time. Okay, so, you've got your clothes laid out for the week. You've got, your 5 shirts laid out that you're going to wear that week. Monday, you've got 5 choices. On Tuesday, how many choices do you have? 4. Your choice on Tuesday is dependent on your choice you made on Monday. Because your choice on Monday affected what happens on Tuesday, because now you don't have as many choices. It's not like it resets and you have the same amount of choices. When you go up to bat, everything resets. You have the same amount of choices. Everything can happen. Okay? That's the difference between an independent event and a dependent event. Here's an example. The guests at a sleepover brought 8 videos. Videos were these plastic boxes that you put them in a machine and it played a movie. They decided they would only watch 3 videos, assuming they're not going to repeat. None of the movies were that good. How many orders of 3 different videos are possible? Okay, sleepover, 8 videos up there on the big TV to watch. They decided they were going to watch 3. So how many choices do they have to watch the first one? They're all sitting around deciding what they want to watch. How many do they have to pick from? 8. Okay? So they watch the movie. The ones that are still awake, which would not be me, now we're going to decide what they're going to watch for the second one. How many choices do they have? 7. And now the one that is still awake after 2 movies decides what he or she is going to watch next, and how many choices do they have? 6. And what do we do with those numbers? We multiply them together to get 336 possible ways that you can watch 3 movies out of 8 choices. This one says, Marissa brought 8 t-shirts and 6 pairs of shorts to summer camp. How many outfits consisting of a t-shirt and a pair of shorts does she have? Very simple. She's choosing a shirt and a pair of shorts. Those are independent or dependent. Which one? Does your shirt choice affect your short choice? Throwing out fashion and clashing issues. Does it affect it? No. So they are independent events. So you simply multiply them together. She has 48 choices. So if you only own 8 shirts and 6 pairs of shorts, you could wear different combinations for 48 days. This one says 16 teams are competing in a soccer match. Gold, silver, and bronze medals will be awarded to the top 3 finishers. And how many ways can the medals be awarded? These are dependent because a team cannot win 2 of them. So once you have a gold medal winner, the choices you have for silver are changed. So it's dependent. Gold has, if you assign that first, 16 choices. It really doesn't matter which one you assign first. Silver, 15 choices. Bronze, 14 choices. Multiply those together, you get 3,360 choices. It's playing Scrabble, Julio. And we have independent or dependent. This is also dependent because once you use a tile, you have, you can't use it again. So first letter, you've got 7 choices. And the second letter, you have 6. Third letter, 5. Multiply those together, and we have 210 choices. Parker, you understand so far? How many 5-digit even numbers can be formed using the digits 4, 6, 7, 2, 8 if the digits can be repeated? Okay, so we've got 5 digits, 5, 5, 5, 4, because that last digit has to be even, because the whole number has to be even. Multiply those together, 2,500 possibilities. So how many possible phone numbers are there in the 309 area code? Assuming that you can start a phone number with 0, which I don't have any information as to whether or not you can do that. There are 10 digits for each number. And if you multiply those together, you get 10 million phone numbers for each area code. This one's fairly simple. The reason I'm showing it to you is because it introduces a probability skill. The letters can only be used once. You have 5 choices for the first one and then on down the line. On your calculator, if you have a PRB button, you might have a choice of an exclamation point, or it might be just a regular button on your calculator. If you type 5 and then the exclamation point, that means factorial. That means your calculator will do 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 for you. So 5 factorial is 120. I don't know if you've covered that in a math class before or not, but 5 factorial is 120. So in this example, Alan has 5 pair of pants and 4 shirts. This is just like patty cakes or whatever her name was in the previous example. 5 times 4 gives us 20. Basically, for those of you not seeing it, she's got 5 pair of pants and 4 shirts to pick from for each one. Very simple. Okay? So this restaurant, you just multiply those together. You've got 3, 2, and 3 gives you 18 total options.